Hey, it's Coach Jamila, and I'm a transformation life coach. And in short, what that means is I teach women how to be happy. Okay? So today we are talking about how to get the lesson, okay? And this can apply in general, but I'm going to speak to it from the standpoint of a woman who's been through an unwanted divorce, okay? So one of the first things that you have to do when you've been through a divorce, an unwanted divorce, is you have to take responsibility for your part in the situation. So you have to take ownership of the part you played in the situation. So for example, it could even be that you should not have even been married to that person because you ignored red flags, warnings, or just sometimes you got married too young, and so you just didn't know what you didn't know, but you probably should not have even been with this person, and that wasn't a good decision that served you well, and so you're just kind of 20, 30 years later dealing with the consequences of that decision, okay? So you have to take responsibility and ownership for that, and that, you know what, I made a wrong choice. Or another thing that can happen is sometimes that individual can change. Or maybe it's who they always were, but we didn't know. But then when we did find out, we continue to ignore, stick our head in the sand, pretend like it was going to go away, and not really tell the truth about what was happening in our relationship. Not really listening to our gut, not really choosing to see the warning signs or the red flags, or really listening to what he was telling us, and not making excuses or trying to flip his words around and make it sound like something that we wanted to hear, okay? So we have to own that, because then if we own it, it means we can change it and not repeat it going forward, okay? So one of the main reasons why taking personal responsibility is so important in this whole scenario is because if you don't, you can't get the lesson. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you like to walk down dark alleys at night, and that's just something you enjoy doing, and you get robbed. And so your thinking is, well, the next time, instead of wearing high heels, I'll wear gym shoes. That way I can run faster. Okay, that's not the lesson. The lesson is, don't be walking down dark alleys at night, and then you won't get robbed in that situation. So it's to avoid the dangerous situation altogether. That's the lesson, okay? Delusion, when we don't face and get the lesson, is that we keep putting ourselves into the same dangerous situation and thinking somehow we're going to outsmart what's about to happen, or we're going to outsmart the danger, or we're going to outsmart the circumstances. And that's not going to happen. So, because if we don't get the lesson, we end up attracting the same guy, or we end up attracting the same situation or scenario, and we continue to eventually find ourselves being mistreated, abused, neglected emotionally, or whatever. And so when we find that a pattern has developed in our life, that's a huge indication that we have not gotten the lesson. And it takes humility to get the lesson, okay? Because you have to acknowledge that you did make a wrong mistake. Now, are you responsible for the other person's wrong actions and perhaps truly victimizing you? Absolutely not. They have to own that. That's their part to own. But you have to own the fact that you probably had some gut feeling or inkling along the way that something wasn't right about this person, this situation, or this scenario, and you ignored it. And then here you are now in this situation, okay? You know, if we try to pretend like things are not as they really are, which we like to do as women. See, when we're married, yes, we should trust our mate. Yes, we should give them the benefit of the doubt. Yes, you know, all these things, if, you know, there's a basis for it. If they have had a pattern or a history of disloyalty, of doing things that show that they're not really worthy of our trust, then why are we continuing to extend it? Why are we not understanding that those actions, those behaviors are indicative that there is a lack of love there on their part, or a lack of something on their part towards us, or usually within themselves, that's not being addressed? And us simply being a silent or even a noisy doormat isn't serving them, and it certainly isn't serving us, because we're either continually getting hurt or we just got, one big hurt when it finally all came out in the wash. So I say all that to say, get the lesson. Be humble enough to take responsibility for your part, own it, and then heal it, learn from it, and move forward. Now, if you've been through an unwanted divorce, and these are kind of some of the feelings, emotions, situations that you're dealing with, the truth is it can be really hard to get through it alone. And I actually have created my 8-week confidence and happiness boot camp, and we address all of these issues in this 8-week experience. And what's nice is that you're going through this group coaching, guided of course by myself, but also with other women that are just like you, who are on their own journey of healing. And we are able to offer each other, that support. And so if you want to be a part of a sisterhood of women that are like-minded and working towards the same goal, which is to become better, I invite you to book a free discovery and action call with me to apply for the program. And we'll go from there. All right. So I want to thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, follow, and I look forward to seeing you here.